Hello, church. So here's our devotional for Thursday, May 21st. A few things. First off, let me try to show you something very quickly. If you can see in the background there, a whole bunch of confetti. And let me also acknowledge, it was not me. So we just had our preschool graduation today, and a lovely celebration. You will also find that on the live streams, because we wanted to be able to share that if folks weren't able to be around for it today. It seemed like there was one other thing too, but I'm losing track of it now. So we continue in Ecclesiastes 2. We're going to be having a short 2 verses, or actually 3 verses, 25, 24, 25, and 26. That was the other thing. I had a text from my mom, I think yesterday or 2 days before, that they'd had a question that popped up on Jeopardy about the phrase eat, drink, and be merry, which you might have heard a couple times already in Ecclesiastes. You'll be hearing that phrase again. And then Towner really expands that whole piece and talks about some other scriptures and concepts and uses of it that I thought was a really fun piece from him. And I think that's it for introduction, and we will get into our scripture portion. Ecclesiastes 2, verse 24. And he entitles this section, Living Happily Pleases God. There is nothing better for mortals than to eat and drink and find enjoyment in their toil. This also I saw is from the hand of God, for apart from him, who can eat or who can have enjoyment? For to the one who pleases him, God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner, he gives the work of gathering and heaping, only to give to one who pleases God. This also is vanity and a chasing after wind. Those words are likely becoming very familiar. He comments, Towner comments, in the desert of absurdity, baking everywhere around him under the sun, Kohelet, the author, now discovers a small but important oasis. Verse 24 introduces one of the principal themes of Kohelet, the commendation of eating, drinking, and pleasure in life. The conventional wisdom scheme of distributive justice that Kohelet may have taught his students, and in which he seems also to have wished to place his trust, animates verse 26. God rewards those who please God with wisdom and knowledge and joy, and even with the fruits of the labors of sinners who end up turning their gains over to the righteous. And he continues with a few selected readings from his reflection. This unit opens with the device that sounds like an echo of the words of Kohelet's contemporary Greek philosopher Epicurus. Epicurus, I think is the pronunciation. You might remember that, you might not from your history and philosophy courses. However, it was not he who first taught, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, but the Hebrew Bible itself. Perhaps Isaiah was quoting the ironic words of an already well-known drinking psalm when he pictured the endangered inhabitants of Jerusalem partying on the eve of the day of the Lord, saying, "Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die," from Isaiah 22, verse 13. Wherever he may have gotten the slogan, he put the stamp of prophetic disapproval upon it. Paul did not think much of this attitude either when he quoted Isaiah 22:13 in order to dismiss the hopelessness of those who denied the resurrection of the dead from 1 Corinthians. Jesus, too, criticized this attitude in his parable of the rich fool, who was a fool precisely because he did not take the last clause of the saying seriously and died that very night in Luke 12:19. As is true of many beloved slogans, this one has enjoyed a life of repetition and paraphrase. The third of the three terms in Kohelet's version of the saying is enjoyment. That third term is the one that has been most volatile in the replays throughout literature. In Isaiah 22:13 and 1 Corinthians 15:32, the third term is death. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. In Don Juan, Byron turned it into love. Eat, drink, and love. What can the rest avail us? So said the royal sage, Sardanapalus. Arthur Hugh Clough, in his poem Easter Day, turns the third term into play. Eat, drink, and play, and think that this is bliss. There is no heaven but this. There is no hell save earth, which serves the purpose doubly well. The list goes on and on. The theme of imposing meaning on fading life through eating, drinking, and merriment is reiterated in our modern literature in many ways. Irving Berlin's popular song, Let's Face the Music and Dance, captures the sentiment as well as any. Before the fiddlers have fled, before they ask us to pay the bill, and while we still have a chance, let's face the music and dance. If inexorably, divine determination is the notion guiding the mind of the teacher, the strange conclusion of the passage makes more sense. A sinner is simply one whom God has chosen to regard as a sinner, and the appropriate spirit of the onlooker is bafflement. That concludes that portion, and now we'll do our message and be back with you tomorrow in chapter 3. The best you can do with your life is have a good time and get up by the best you can. The way I see it, that's it, divine fate. Whether we feast or fast, it's up to God. God may give wisdom and knowledge and joy to his favorites, but sinners are assigned a life of hard labor and end up turning their wages over to God's favorite. Nothing but smoke and spitting into the wind. And on that cheery note, we will conclude for today, and we'll be back with you tomorrow. Take care.